Looks like Raw's just upped the game for Survivor Series. Raw started off with what seems like a montage of what SmackDown did to him a couple of weeks back now. I am already sick and tired of seeing the same over and over and over of SmackDown putting Raw under siege. Yes, we see it. It was awesome at the time. It was probably one of the best segments you guys have done. But now you have literally dragged it into our heads for the last 3 weeks. I don't care anymore. But then we had Stephanie McMahon come out. Being Stephanie McMahon, she's the worst thing on Raw. Every time she comes out, it's like, I don't care. I don't care. She calls out Kurt Angle, wanting an explanation of what happened in Manchester, saying how did the New Day get into Raw, pretty much making the general manager feel like less of a man. She does that to everyone, which is great. If it's not Mick Foley, now Kurt Angle, Stephanie McMahon, just literally she's awful. She's an awful human being. In the ring as a character, that character Stephanie McMahon is one of the worst. And then we had the Shield interrupter. Thank God, they were the saving grace. They came out pretty much defending Kurt Angle, which was good to see. Then they also had a challenge to New Day, pretty much saying, look guys, you interrupted us, you made us lose the titles, the tag team titles, now we're coming for you. And to be honest, apart from the Stephanie McMahon bit, the Shield were great. Roman Reigns made a great pop at Stephanie's behalf, saying, where have you been for the last 7 months? Because she said, where were you? And he said, look, where were you for 7 months? You went for a table. And Steph was like, whoa, keep me out of this one. And yeah, everyone had a bit of a laugh at that. And that was a good little starting segment. It wasn't great, again, Stephanie just souring, she's meant to make Survivor Series, you meant to make it epic, but it just doesn't feel that way, especially with Stephanie now back in the realm of commissioner. And we have a part of the show where it was kind of an up and it was kind of a down. It was the first match of the night and it was the final spot for the Raw Women's team. You had Mickie James, Dana Brooke and Bayley fighting it out for this. Everyone was expecting Paige to come out. You had all the Raw team out there. But unfortunately we didn't get to see Paige. That's such a shame. Again, this would have been a great pop for her to come out at that point and take the final spot. Reports are saying that she was in the arena, but she was not cleared to take part last night. So we had Bayley, Dana Brooks and Mickie James. Really good match. It wasn't anything special. It was a good match. Looks like Dana Brooke has now turned heel again. Okay. I think that's because of Emma's leaving. But for all around, you had Dana Brooke mouthing off at Asuka. That's definitely showing Asuka and Dana Brooke going to have a match down the line soon. And then you got Bayley being quite aggressive, which was nice to see, by the way. Getting the pin on Mickie James. Overall, decent match. Not much complaining. You can't really complain with Bayley taking the final spot. It would have just been better if Paige was there, I reckon. Now we go from a very disappointing part of the show, where again 205 it's dying a quick death. It looks not a quick death, a slow death, especially with Enzo Amore. He did elevate the show quite a while with his matches with Neville, but unfortunately looking like now that Neville's not going to come back anytime soon, the show's just devolving. And Enzo Amore, the fans still cheer him, but he's annoying as hell now. And that's kind of a factor that if he's the head of 205, he's the figurehead for 205, that isn't very good. We had a tag team match where we had Kalisto and Tozawa two former Cruiserweight champions taking on Enzo Amore and Gulak. A very, you know, mediocre match. It was and Enzo won clean. Took out Tozawa with his finisher. It wasn't. It's again, the 205 doesn't feel like anything special going on in the division. It just needs elevating. I think when you had the UK guys on, it was fantastic. But now that they're back in the US, it's they've lost a lot of steam again on that show. Then we had Jason Jordan's match of the night, which he took on Bray Wyatt, a returning Bray Wyatt. Bray got quite a good pop for his returns, coming back from illness. Jason Jordan, again, not a great reception, doesn't really show his caliber. Obviously at the beginning of the show, Stephanie was asking who is Jason Jordan. This was a way of showing Stephanie in some way who he was, not just his son. The match itself was fine. Jason Jordan got the win. It wasn't anything special. Bray Wyatt did what Bray Wyatt does best. After the match, absolutely destroyed. Again, this is a down for me though. Bray Wyatt returning from sickness should have had a win. He should have had another opponent and should have got a win, because the fans definitely were excited to see Bray, but compared to what you get when you see Jason Jordan. But luckily enough, Bray Wyatt took Jason Jordan out, which was good to see. And then obviously Jason Jordan limped out, and this worked on an angle later on in the show with Jason Jordan's legs being absolutely destroyed thanks to Bray Wyatt. Thankfully the fans were literally grateful for Bray Wyatt for doing this. Obviously it's all part of a story. If it was a serious injury, the fans wouldn't have been cheering. But as we're not stupid, WWE. We know this is part of a story, and like I said, it builds on for something what happens on later on the show. Then we had probably one of the high spots of the night. We had Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar coming out to pretty much build up Survivor Series. Paul Heyman sold the main event: Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. Now for me, if you're a wrestling fan, this is a dream match. This is a match that I think we've all gone, who would win? Brock Lesnar, you know, physically kind of a daunting kind of character, or AJ Styles, skills, talent, ability. And Paul Heyman sold it. You look at what promo work he did with Jinder Mahal compared to what he did with selling the match now that it's AJ Styles. You can tell Brock and Paul are excited for this match, and you cannot blame them. Even the fans were chanting AJ Styles. AJ Styles and Suplex City. That's what you're going to hear on Survivor Series, the main event. That has got to be an absolute killer match now. Definitely the right change to make with putting AJ in that. You can tell the fans wanted that, and it was going to be absolute. Again, Paul Heyman, the best mic talker in the whole company. Full stop. No one else can do that but Paul Heyman. I've never seen anyone who really isn't a wrestler but has such a great way. And I've got to say, he killed it when the chants were going. She said yes. When someone proposed during Brock Lesnar's part, Paul Heyman went off script, buried him, which was fantastic. I think that was really cool. And then got back on to selling for Survivor Series. So that was great. Then we had the Shield reunion match with the Shield taking on Sheamus and Cesaro and The Miz, with The Miz Taraj as well. This was not as good as it should have been. Obviously, we should have had this match back at TLC, but Roman Reigns got ill, so Kurt Angle replaced him. We also had a Miz TV segment before this where The Miz was selling the match. He did an okay job. Again, best mic talker as a superstar goes to The Miz. Definitely the best mic talker as a superstar. But the match itself was nothing compared to what it could have been if we had TLC. The table, ladders and chairs would have made this match so much better. But the match itself was fine. It wasn't anything special. the minute you knew that it was going to be the Shield versus, you know, the heel team of The Miz and The Bar, you kind of went, yeah, the Shield are going to win this. They did. It was quite a dominant match. The Shield didn't like, there was the Bar and The Miz had a bit of offensive kind of tactics. Cesaro looked really good, but apart from that, it wasn't anything special, nothing to write about, especially for the full Shield reunion. People forget this is the first time in 3 years that these guys have worked together properly in a real match, and it wasn't anything special. Hopefully with the New Day match, it's definitely going to be something really special. That's definitely going to be great working effort, because let's be honest, the New Day and the Shield, we know, can pull off fantastic matches. Then we come back to the Jason Jordan situation, where Kurt Angle comes out to the ring and says, look, Jason Jordan cannot compete at Survivor Series. Kurt Angle sold this brilliant. You can tell the guy has years of experience, he knows how to sell the crowd, and it worked really well. Jason Jordan comes out, emotional kind of situation, asking his dad, look, don't do this to me, it's a big opportunity for me as a wrestler, you can't do this, you wrestled while injured, and all this. And you could see the tear between Kurt Angle, between the Raw side of him and being a parent. You know, again, I'm not a fan of the storyline of Jason Jordan being Kurt Angle's son, but the way these guys worked it, it was a fine promo. Jason Jordan did alright, it wasn't all special for him, but Kurt Angle, MVP in the situation. Stephanie McMahon comes out, says, if you don't make this announcement, I will. She goes backstage, Kurt again struggling to get the words out, and then the game comes out. Triple H walks down, it looks like he's just absolutely fuming, goes, if you don't make the announcement, I'm going to do it now. Kurt doesn't say anything, takes the mat and says, the 5th man of Team Raw is me. And everyone erupts. Everyone erupted anyway when he came out, but absolutely killed it. Then he turns around to Jason Jordan, pedigrees him and walks off. The crowd loved that. For me, this is a good way you can turn Jason Jordan heel from this. This is a good catalyst for him to turn heel, and this is great to see Triple H again coming out and, you know, being a badass. But for me, this it's a good point and a bad point. You're taking away a young talent who has potential, definitely has potential in the company, but needs something. He's definitely not ready yet for Survivor Series. But again, you're putting your old school wrestlers in front of young talent, so that could be detrimental in the future. Let's think about it. We've now got 4 guys who are not full-time wrestlers anymore in the Survivor Series teams. You have Kurt Angle and Triple H now, who aren't full-time wrestlers on Raw, and then you have John Cena and Shane O'Mac, who aren't full-time wrestlers on SmackDown. So you got 40% of the talent for Survivor Series who aren't full-time wrestlers anymore. It could be detrimental, but I doubt it. It will definitely sell more tickets now having the game there. Then we had Finn Balor and Samoa Joe teaming up to take on the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. Nothing much to say in this match. It could have been anyone else who in the tag division who aren't doing anything. For me personally, it should have been Rhino and Heath Slater. They definitely aren't doing anything. Gallows and Anderson are fine opponents. They work really well with Finn. You can tell they do have a great history, obviously, with the Bullet Club. They do mention it quite often. They don't say the Bullet Club, but you know they're hinting at the Bullet Club a lot. And then you've got a great, you know, and Samoa Joe and Finn Balor have tagged team before back in NXT, and it worked really well. The match itself was a quick, easy finish for both guys. It worked really well. But it wasn't anything special. But you can definitely sense that there is chemistry between the two. I can't wait to see how they both perform working together at the Survivor Series match. Then we have the last match of the night, and it was kind of like, what the hell did I just see kind of match, where you just saw Kane and Braun Strowman beat the crap out of each other outside the ring. They finally get back in. and then, you know, they're hitting each other with chairs. There was a table. You know, I was literally like, I didn't even realise the match hadn't even started. The match didn't start. They both just started beating the crap out of each other. Referee didn't really try and stop them. But it's a kind of like, what the hell? They finally get back into the ring. Braun does a power slam, and they go through the mat, and that's it. That ends the show of Raw. And I was like, was that what have I just seen? That's it. Okay. The match itself wasn't a match. It didn't happen. You saw two big guys beat the crap out of each other. It's great. It's awesome to watch. But when something like that happens, when it ends just like that, it's kind of like, really? We saw we saw Braun Strowman and the Big Show destroy a ring. Now we're saying that Braun Strowman power slamming Kane through the mat. Okay, but yeah, that was the last match of Raw. It was like, what the hell have I just watched kind of match. And there you go, guys. That's our Raw review for this week. Was Raw any good? No, it wasn't. It wasn't a great sell-off match, sell-off show before Survivor Series. Don't forget, this is Raw's last chance to show off their teams. Best highlights was, for me, the Triple H part. The Finn Balor and Samoa Joe match was absolutely brilliant. Bayley getting the final spot is fine. That's okay. Braun Strowman Kane match was funny, so it's okay. It's like, what the hell have I watched, but funny at the same time. The Shield match was very poor compared to the build up for it. The Jason Jordan Bray Wyatt match had purpose, so yes, it wasn't a great match for Bray Wyatt's return, but it did have purpose. And there you go. That's our review for Raw this week. Check out tomorrow when we'll be doing our SmackDown Live. Hopefully something exciting will happen. We do have 2 title matches to come in on tomorrow. But please leave your comments below, guys. Tell me what you thought about this week's Raw. If you do like our videos, you know what to do. You can like, subscribe, and you can follow me at Twitter at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.